Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. Just a few days ago, I was in the woods and doing some cutting and some splitting and some packing of wood. Thought I'd give you a few scenes of that along with some reflections along the way. And if you'll hang on until the end, you'll see the next generation starting out. I'm cutting some oak right on the side of the road here, on the side of the highway. I'm going to show you how handy the right equipment is. These oak rounds, let this truck pass. There's another one. These oak rounds are about 20 inches across, 19 to 20 depending on where you measure. And I cannot pick them up. They're too big. But I wanted to show you how, and I know I've shown you this with other videos, but this is kind of putting things together. What I've got here is a few pieces off a log that runs another 15 feet in this direction. But I've got to make some space, and if you can see over here behind me, I've already quartered up some of these logs because I can't pick them up. And the particular truck I'm using doesn't have a hitch on it. I need to rectify that, but that's another issue. So what I'm doing is having to split these by hand to make them manageable. Now with the pickaroons, I can actually pick 2 of these up, but I'll pay for it for the next several days in back trouble. So some of my health conditions include arthritis. I'm tachycardic, which means my heart beats too quickly, which means it's not beating deeply enough. It's not getting a good pump that pushes a lot of blood. So I get winded pretty easily, and being 58 years old and 285 pounds soaking wet or bone dry, either way you want to look at it, my stamina isn't what it used to be, especially when I'm doing it manually. So I just wanted to show you how handy the right equipment is. Another couple of things, when you look at people who are splitting wood online, you'll often see them, their grip will go to an end grip. If you split wood regularly and you've got the shoulders and the back and the wrists for it, that will work. However, if you don't swing that regularly, I'm going to give you the same advice your Little League coach gave you. Choke up. The mechanical advantage you get with a wedge like this, a maul, is not the weight, not primarily the weight. It's primarily speed. And when you've got this thing on the end of your arm, it's very hard to generate maximum speed. If you'll choke up a couple of inches and work it from there, you'll get better speed. So let's see if my talk will bear out in fruit. Missed. That's 4 licks. Would have been 3, but I missed one. And it's split. I just now have to condense it to finish up. There we go. This is white oak, which in my opinion is some of the best wood there is. I'll also give you a technique trick. When you're splitting wood, especially when you're splitting all the way through, don't start with your maul in the middle. The most effective place is to start 3/4 or so to the outside. Now, different wood some wood will have a very soft outside layer, and you just can't do that because it will absorb the energy. But with this oak, I'm much more efficiently starting towards the outside, and in fact, starting on the side that's furthest away from me, so the energy is directed back into the wood. If I am working here, and I'm going to split on the edge that's closest to me, see the angle of my maul? Part of the energy is directed outside of the wood. I want to direct it in. That is what allows me to pick up wood by splitting it. And here's my pickaroon, and I only have one with me. I'm not going to pick up all of this. There's a reason. I'm on an incline here. That's why we have 4-wheel drive. So I'm going to pick up one to show you what I'm doing and how easy it is. Then I'm going to move the truck so I don't have to walk up this hill. But without the pickaroon, I have to do this. Had to bend all the way over. With the pickaroon, it's that easy. So take care of your back, and you'll be able to work longer. Just moving some wood now. Stacking your wood in the truck is harder, but you'll get, a third more wood on the truck. When I'm stacking those pieces the furthest up in there, it's a little better to make them just a little smaller, so it's not as heavy to throw. Over the sidewalk of the truck. And I'll tell you, throwing it over the sidewalk is a far better strategy because I've busted out the back window of the truck before. Oh my. I've been sawing for about, 15, 20 minutes. But it's the picking up and the splitting that drain me the quickest. Told you earlier about heart and joints. I'm also a touch asthmatic. Not terribly so, but enough to aggravate me. It's well enough under control. Hang on. It's well enough under control that I don't have to carry an inhaler, a rescue inhaler. But it's there. You have to manage it. Ooh. It's kind of hard to use your pickaroon if you leave it on the truck. Because I'm right-handed, I tend to use this thing probably 80% of the time. Right-handed, and I have to remind myself to switch to my left hand so that my back will tire more evenly. My experience, because I did it the other way for so many years where I just picked everything up by hand, the pickaroon makes my work faster, easier, and I can endure longer, although me sitting here is not demonstrating that. But the other thing I've learned is life and working for yourself is not a sprint. It is not a foot race. So I'm going to take time to take care of me for about 3 minutes. I'm going to drink some water. Then I'm going to go out and continue splitting this log. In an earlier video, I showed you besides the pickaroon, a cant hook, C-A-N-T, or a logging hook, or a log roller. It goes by all the names, depending on where you are. One of the things that's hard to do is to cut through a log like this without hitting the ground and dulling your blade. Cut 90% through and roll your log over so you can finish without hitting the soil and the undergrowth. It'll save your blade and save your sharpening time quite a bit. Excuse me while I drink. Recording this in June. What is today? June the 13th. Yesterday was the rainy day. I did the breakfast video. And you'll wonder why I'm wearing heaviest clothes as I am. If you see some of the vines along the length of this log, some of those vines are dried poison oak, which is ironic, oak and poison oak going together. I'm very fortunate this tree has been down long enough that these vines have not only dried, but they are decaying, they're rotting. I take my pickaroon hook or a hatchet and I just pull off the big ones. But I'm wearing these long clothes because the poison oak, poison ivy, sumac, and I don't know how many other vines all do the same thing. They cause an allergic reaction on your skin, and it's not the vine that causes the reaction, it is the oils in the vine. So letting them dry helps tremendously, but I just choose to wear long sleeves because the saw throws so much debris out that it's better safe than sorry. So you get a little warmer, but that's okay. But I'm going to cut a couple of rounds here and just let you see what I'm dealing with. And I'm going to have to go back and sharpen my saw. But I'm talking basically about the right equipment. Behind me is woods, undergrowth. And if you didn't know this, one of the most common habitats for many kinds of snakes is 25 feet off the road. One of the reasons for this is because of birds, mice, and other animals being hit on the road. It's easy prey for them. Another reason to wear, I've got calf link boots on. If I get into the woods, I'm going to put my chaps on just to protect myself. Here in Virginia, we have not so many rattlers, but some, but a lot of copperheads. And, you know, there are people with nice, easy-going demeanors, and there are people who are pissed off all the time. The copperhead is the latter of the two. He is the kind of snake that don't want you around, and he will come and tell you so. So always be aware of your surroundings. Anytime you have dead wood, again, this is very appropriate for the location I'm in. Dead stumps are a breeding ground for spiders, including black widows. I've got a friend years ago, just out walking, piddling, I guess, behind his house in the edge of the woods, and he sat down on a stump just to watch the world go by and was bitten by a black widow. And I think when he put his hands down, that's when it got him. So be safe by wearing sufficient tough clothes. You'll also see I carry knee braces with me. These are strap-on knee braces. You get them at Lowe's Home Improvement or any other store like that. They will save your knees so much work. Part of my trouble with my height is, and my back, I don't like to bend over for long periods of time, so I end up going down on a knee. And on the days when I don't use these, I have much more pain later. So just something to keep in mind. And the other thing is, and I've showed you before, wear some hearing protection. I have permanent hearing damage because I was young and arrogant, and I figured it wouldn't happen to me. It happened to me, so I have that nice little ringing in my ears, so I try to protect my ears at all times. So let's do a little more work.